Hey guys, Scotty here. Back working on this tent trailer. I'm gonna make another push today to get this done. You can see I started taking apart the front of the roof here. I'm gonna replace this. I got a little lazy there. I was gonna kind of like put this back together and seal it all out without replacing this front piece here, which is, it is rotten a little bit. I keep telling myself that maybe it's okay, but it's had some water infiltration. I've got it all apart now. Why not just replace the wood while I can and then seal it up? It's just, this side's okay. I don't know if it's just, probably replace it, but. So I'm gonna do that, but today in this video, I was gonna do a whole bearing video. I'm working on these wheel bearings. Kind of learned some cool things here about the bearings. I was going to replace the races. I got this new bearing race driver set off Amazon. I got new bearings here. I've got several bearing kits for this trailer. I've done quite a few trailer bearings, but I've never replaced the races. So I was going to do this video about changing the races on the bearings, which there's already quite a few videos on YouTube about doing that, but I just thought I'd document my first time changing out some races, see how easy or hard it is for first time doing that. But I realized with these trailer bearings, like I took the wheel apart, what I've realized is that these bearings have already been changed. So that's a new Timken bearing, as well as this one in here. Bearings seem okay, but the main problem with this is that the seal for the bearing, this looked weird when I took it apart, and I kind of realized that the seal here is damaged. Look closely, it's kind of like all chewed up. When I looked at the replacement set of bearings, it came with, where are we here? It came, the replacement bearing kit on this trailer right here. It basically comes with some grease, bearing races. The bearing that goes on this Coleman Trent trailer is a L44649 bearing. I just realized something else. These seem like far superior bearings than the Chinese ones that I've got. These are much tighter. Interesting. It's a way better bearing than these here. Rockwell American. These are made in China. These are made in Poland. The feel of these bearings is vastly superior to these Rockwell Americans. Let's see if we put this out. Let's get this bearing kit open. Yeah, look at that. See how loose that is? These rollers in the cage, just super loose. There's a lot of sloppy play there. These bearings probably would work just fine, but just definitely a lot more play in this bearing than the Timken bearings, which are, these, they don't even have any, well, they've got a little bit of that play, but nowhere near as much. And just the metal looks better. Everything looks better on these bearings. So This trailer has a set of that Timken bearings in it already, so I don't want to change those out, but because they're fine, I've had them apart. But with this bearing kit, the Timken bearing set, the L44649 bearings, it came with this grease seal. Okay, now this grease seal can go in the hub. It's the right outer diameter. This is the right outer diameter for this hub. So you can see right there. However, the inner diameter of this seal here, if you look at the way this goes on the spindle, you see that it doesn't fit over the collar. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit over the collar like that. The collar of this spindle, it's too big.
So what did they do?
It's too big. So the mechanic that put these bearings in, although they are good bearings, put the wrong size grease seal in there. And you can see it's chewed it all up, and you can see the metal is all chewed up around here, and that is basically what keeps the grease in. And I can tell that the grease has been getting contaminated, and when I actually took this apart, I could see the grease was pushing out. So it would be only a matter of time before those bearings failed. This is the wrong grease seal, and like I can't even get that to go on here. Like it won't even fit. So that whoever put these, the mechanic or whoever put these bearings on, they obviously just crushed that grease seal against that collar. So it took me a long time to figure out where to get the proper size grease seal. But guess what? I found it in Gracefield, just down the road. A lot of great mechanics in Gracefield, Quebec. They know what they're doing. And so I've managed to pick up 4 grease seals. Do you need something?
To show you something.
Who's your good girl? Who's your good girl? I'm just in the middle of doing a video. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, eh? Do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, eh?
Are these to punch them in?
Yeah, well, to put the seals and the bearings in. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool, right? You can check it out.
Is this what you got Princess off?
I got that off of
no, you
Amazon.
ordered these.
Yeah, look, see that, you put that on the punch, and then you use it to put into the, and then you punch the race in to seat the race properly. But then you also use this to put the seal in, or a piece of wood or whatever. But yeah, that's what I got that for.
If you're doing it properly, right?
If you're doing it properly.
You're doing it properly.
With probably not. Okay. But anyways, we got the proper size grease seals. So you can see this one here. This has an inner diameter. So the way these grease seals are is they have an outer diameter and the inner diameter. You see this one is too small. This is a 1 3/8. This is, I forget, I have to measure this one, but too small. So this, let's see how this fits. This looks like the right size. Yeah, you can see, you can measure with the caliper that this is a 1-inch spindle. 1-inch spindle, as you can see, and you can measure the collar, and the collar is 1 3/8. It's 1 3/8 collar. So hopefully this grease seal, I haven't put this on yet. So, oh, this has these are better seals too. Look, this has a spring in it too. This is a better seal. And these are, I should get more. That's perfect. Look at that. perfect. So, oh, so good. So good. Fits perfectly. So stoked about that. That is the way that should fit. That is the way that should fit. Super stoked. Okay, so we're good. We're good. I'm gonna use the seal puller. I'm gonna get that out of there. We're gonna put the proper seals in. I maybe go back to Gracefield to get some more of these for the futures, so I know I have them. But anyways, that's an interesting problem. So, and actually, this little part, which is a cheap part, that, you know, don't have the good grease seal there. You're getting water and debris and sand and dirt stuff all in the bearings, and the grease is working its way out, which I could clearly see it was. I didn't really know what was going on until I figured out that the wrong grease seals were on that. So cool. Stoked about that. Yeah, look at that. All that just completely chewed up. Yeah, wow. Wow, look at those pieces of rubber in there. Look at all that. It's completely torn up. Let's actually have a look at that. Wow, it's all splintery. Holy jeez. Like metal shards coming out of there. Wow. These are okay, yeah. I think. Ooh. There's a metal shard I took out of there. Look at that. Wow, okay. Yeah, I should. So we can get a good look at that race. Still looks good. I don't see any nicks on it or like areas of concern. It doesn't, it's not good to have, to know that there's been that metal in there, but no, it still looks good. I don't see any problems with the race. Still looks fine. I think we've got, but look at this. That's part of the, that metal splinter there is part of the old grease seal. So I may be taking a chance not changing the races, but I think if I just clean that up nice and put some different grease in there, and we should be good. Because I don't see any problems with that race. So they've obviously been changed recently. So also see on the inside here where grease has been coming out of the bearing. That's another interesting observation. Likely coming out of the bearing because it's not sealed in there, because the seal's not this. Yeah, anyways, that's interesting. Bunch of problems that could be created by that simple little part. This is the wrong size grease seal, and this is the right one. So okay, let's have a look here. Got some metal shards here, and this got chewed up real bad. See, the rubber is all chewed off of it, and just see it's all chewed up around the edges here. So really not good. So that thing is not keeping the grease in, and at the same time putting metal shards of metal inside the wheel hub. So some bad news. This here, this part's like a $5 part. So whoever did that job did a real bad job of that. The race on the other side, just checking in there with, see any serious nicks or anything in that race. Still good. So I think we caught the damage before it really got really bad. So the races look okay. See, it still turns nicely. I don't feel any binding or anything like that, so that's good. There's going to be some good information in this video for anybody that has a Coleman tent trailer. I've also learned that Coleman tent trailers use a Dexter axle system. Here's the company here, Dexter. This is made in somewhere in the United States. There's a part number here for this hub. Looks like a 8 or a 6257. And I also found the data sheets online for the Dexter axle, as well as a bunch of other really interesting repair manuals for Coleman tent trailers. Where did I find that? It's here. Got this Dexter axle, and here's the one that's on my Coleman. That's a 2,000 pound axle. Some different spindle options here. Here's a couple hub options, leaf springs. There's a parts list. See, parts list here. Different specifications for this particular axle, Dexter axle 2000, and Dexter axle. Yeah, so it's an American company with some manufacturers in the United States. This, where did I get all this cool stuff? Oh, is off this website here. It's a fantastic website here. What is it? Coleman Pop-Up Parts. ColemanPopUpParts.com, and they have all these repair guides. And what's interesting is they even got stuff about, you know, the roof system. Found a really interesting article here on the roof and the construction of the roof. Even points out some places where it may leak, which in fact it is leaking from these points. I found it interesting that they would make a repair manual like that. Top assembly leaks, aluminum skin troubleshooting guide, Americana top assembly potential leak locations. So just straight up just tell you where your roof is gonna start leaking. And it's funny because all the areas that they point out are indeed the areas where the roof is leaking. I just find it weird. If they're aware of that design flaw, why don't they make it so it doesn't leak? I don't understand. It seems I just think it'd be fairly simple to design a roof that doesn't leak, right? I don't get it. Anyways, so yeah, a couple interesting things there. That website is really cool. Some really cool stuff on there. Just all kinds of repair guides and information about the Coleman pop-up trailers. I'll put a link in the description if you also have a Coleman tent trailer to that website. And for now, let's get these bearings in. Guess we'll get some grease in the bearings, repack them, and reinstall them on the trailer. Messy job. All right, I can kind of see the grease coming through the other side there now. Definitely not a pro at this. See grease come pushing through. I'm definitely not an expert on that, but that looks good. Put this back first. Drop that guy in. Okay. Next would be our grease seal. And I gotta find a piece of wood to hammer that in. Alright, we got that in there. Got the new grease seal in. Oh no, did I do that right? Damn it. Hopefully I can get that out. Total idiot. So stupid. So dumb. That's why you don't use that tool for that. Okay. Okay, got that out. Idiot. Idiot. So stupid, man. That rests against... Right, okay. I installed that incorrectly. That's why you don't use this to... Okay, I need a piece of wood. A piece of wood. That should be flush with the outside here, not pressed against the bearing. Ah, what the? Damn it. I screwed that up again. What am I doing? How do I keep screwing this up? What am I doing? Okay, still okay. What am I doing? Is this not the right diameter or something? Get it. Doesn't seem to be working too well. Huh?
Can I have this?
Where'd you get that?
Found it in the bin.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Where'd you find that?
Found it in the bin of all your Uottawa Scotty stuff.
Yeah, okay. That's a nice sweater, dude.
Fits me perfectly.
Perfect, yeah, it's yours. Yeah, this is going a little bit better. Yeah, okay. That's better. A little damaged. A little bit. Okay. What's this? Okay. A little dent in it there, but that's okay. Just a little imperfection down. I think it'll be just fine. Okay. Perfect. It's looking good. Oh. I'm getting grease everywhere. Everywhere. Grease is all over everything. So that's all right, I guess. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not an expert at this. This is my first time putting something like that in, so a bit of a learning curve. But I got it in there straight. It's flush with the outer edge of the hub here. So it's all good. So pack up this other bearing, and I think we'll be ready to put it on. So, all right. Grease pushing out through there. So I'm starting to pack it. Ready to rock. All right. Okay, these brakes are basically not hooked up anymore. I'm not using, but there we go. Yeah, that should just fit right over. Beautiful, beautiful. I can feel that grease seal just seal right against that. That's awesome. Push all this grease back in. Ah, it's beautiful. There, that's the way that should feel. Okay. This, for whatever reason, it was not put together with washers. So I'm not going to put any washers on it. Not entirely sure if there should be washers there, but there wasn't any. So I'm just going to put it back together. Okay. There's a lot of discussion how to set this. Man, there's just like people back and forth on how to set bearings, but right now I heard tighten it up so that it binds to seat the bearing. Probably should have a socket for this. I don't have a socket that big. So, bearing doesn't seem seated yet. We will keep tightening. There's a bit of binding there. Okay, so that is binding. Okay, so that's binding. If we back that off, back it off till about there. I think that's the right. There's no play. I think that's where that should go. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, makes sense. That's the whole axle moving there. That's not good. That's a whole other problem. That's a whole other problem. actually kind of concerning that the whole axle is moving. I'm finding a whole lot of problems here with this trailer. All right, that's that one. That's that one. I wonder if that's seated properly. I think it is. I think it is. Okay, let's do the other side. All right. Okay. Here's a good example of what's happening with these chewed up grease seals. See? All the grease is coming out. It's coming out already. And if you look closely, I'll clean this up here. You'll see that this seal here is, I'll put this back together with the damaged seal. See that this one also is all chewed up. And that's no good because, first of all, probably got a bunch of metal shards in there. In addition to the grease just flat out not, well, probably a lot of that got pushed out when I put it on, but at the same time, when I ran this trailer, I got it home with these damaged seals. When I got it home, I did notice that a lot of the grease was coming out. So let's get that damaged seal out of there. Okay. Yep. Look at that. Metal shards. Get this one on the bench too. All right, check this out. Here's this grease seal. This is the size of seal that went on. And as you can see, this is what that seal used to look like. This whole rubber inner piece has been chewed off. Now it looks like this. And to my untrained eye, I didn't realize that this was also pushed right down inside the hub against the bearing, and that's not supposed to be like that. So I didn't realize that when I first looked at it too, but you just see how chewed up that is around here, look at all that metal. Look at that. It's just so beat up and chewed up. So really not good. That doesn't keep the grease in, and it also puts these little metal shards into the bearing. So this is the correct grease seal. I'll put the correct one in. Yeah, I've inspected the race. Fortunately, race is still really good. Still really good. There's no nicks or anything like that. As I say, these bearings are still in really good shape. I've inspected them, so there's no damage really to the bearings yet. I could tell both the bearings were done and they were just done incorrectly. But fortunately, not enough miles to cause some real damage. So luckily caught this before it really left me stranded on the side of the road. Okay. Yeah, it's a little. I think that's okay. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. That feels a lot better. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, we're done with this job. And this video there. Nice and tight. No end play. Seems to be turning nicely. I don't hear any grinding or anything. Super smooth. Super duper. Okay, this side. I'm hearing a bit of noise in this one, but I think that's the brake parts that I left in there. Brake shoes and this was looking too. I don't know, that one doesn't sound too good. Does not sound very good. I think that's like, there's a bunch of, then I took the magnet, the electromagnet, some other parts out of the other side, so I think that's why, that's the noise that we're hearing, is just parts inside the hub, brake parts. I hope so. Anyways, I'm gonna call this a job. I'm gonna call that done. I'm sure it's okay. We'll find out. We'll be on the highway real soon. So, I don't know. I wouldn't refer to my video necessarily for a how-to, but I did a better job than the last mechanic, so that's all I know. So anyways, grease seals, pretty important. Leave you stranded. Kind of learned a little bit from this video here. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. The next video in this series, we're gonna get into this roof here. I'm actually gonna start working on it right now and get this all fixed up. One day, hopefully soon, this tent trailer will be ready for the road. Okay. I've got some other stuff I've got to do with this thing too. I'm going to adjust the cables again. Anyways, gonna get right to it. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.